Hi there, welcome to Homekeepers. Come right on in, my friends. So glad to be here, so glad you're there. Welcome, welcome. I love every one of you, and some of you take time to, send us nice emails of encouragement and snail mail and all of that. And I'm impressed with people who take the time to do that, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I really do think you're going to enjoy the program today. As most of you know, we're living in a time of great negativity, and there's a lot of shouting, and there's a lot of screaming, and there's people against other people, and a lot of vulgarity and all. And sometimes you need just a relief from all that. Well, my guest today will bring that to you. His name is Bobby Lewis. He's a CBS reporter from right here in Tampa Bay area, and probably a lot of you in this area have seen him. And he's written a book that is so refreshing called Finding Joy Beyond the Headlines. It's been a long time since I've enjoyed a book so much that's just refreshing, like a cool glass of water. And what he has done as a three-time Emmy-winning reporter, what he's done is find those stories about those good people in America, and I tell you, there are millions of them that are doing good things, and probably he kind of has to choose which stories he'll put in the book or what he would feature on TV, because there's a lot of good ones out there. They just don't get the headlines. So I'm anxious for you to meet him and learn about his book, and I'm going to join Stephanie. We're making sausage vegetable rotini soup. So you might say it's an entree, even though it's called soup. It's got so many good things in it. We'll show you how to put it together. And before I join her, let me remind you, we are viewer supported, and so appreciate every gift that you send. And sometimes we present a premium that you can order. But today I just want to put the information on the screen. You can use a credit card by using that 800 number, 1-800-229-0059, or the physical address is Box 6922, Clearwater, Florida, 33758. Thank you for anything that you can do. All right, how are you today, Sister Steph?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good.
Okay. Three-time Emmy Award winning.
We don't have any Emmys.
Zero-time Emmy Award winning. We get told we're hysterical. What's up? No.
Maybe we can ask him how you do that.
Yeah. Well, he probably works really hard, so that might be it.
Yes. But, life's not over.
No.
All things are possible.
All things are possible. Food Network might call me.
Yes.
Just saying.
Yes.
Okay, so I have sausage in here that I've already cooked up. I'm going to put onions, and I'm just going to smile through this next part.
About a cup. Yeah, she can't tolerate any kind of a pepper, whether it's green, yellow, or orange. And God made these beautiful, beautiful peppers, and she hates them. All right.
I can't even smell them. That's how bad it is. Okay, so that was onions and green pepper and sausage.
Kind of caramelized.
I have a can of diced tomatoes. I have frozen corn that's thawed. Okay, I have a quarter cup of ketchup. I have 2 teaspoons of chili powder. I have some tricolored rotini and 3 cups of water.
And you can absolutely tell that
this is another one of those recipes that somebody said, this is what I have. What can I make?
Well, what have we got in the refrigerator today?
Yeah, and you might want to mention it came out of where?
It came out of a diabetic cookbook. So, do you know, actually, when you get into the cookbooks I have upstairs, a lot of diabetics, they have more latitude than you would think.
Yeah.
At least these are supposed to be scientifically constructed. So,
okay, I'm going to put a can of tomatoes. That might.
Yeah, she smells this green pepper. We might lose her. We just might lose her.
You all, if you like green peppers, you're going to love this, I promise.
Yeah.
I'm just not a fan. Okay, let's do the water next so I can get some. Thank you. And then we'll do the corn. Give me that
and we love
bouillon.
Colorful
bouillon,
food, and this got color.
They call it vegetable, but it's got, what, 3 vegetables.
So you would do this, but you wouldn't put the pepper in it, right?
I would not. There's not a pepper in my house ever, okay? Not ever, ever, ever.
I wonder why you hate them so much.
It's just I don't know, but no thank you. Okay, so that was beef bouillon. And I'll put corn.
Going to have a lot of different flavors, and of course...
Now this is interesting right here, ketchup.
Yeah.
Okay, again, what do I have in the refrigerator?
Yeah.
I have ketchup. Let's put it in a soup.
Every once in a while, there's a very surprising ingredient.
Yeah, and then chili powder, please.
That I would probably use less of.
Oh, no, more.
I think every cook out there is watching us. They, you know,
You
they
do what you
make
do.
them different, yeah.
You be you in your kitchen, right? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put this in and let it all heat up real quick so you can taste it because we have a very important guest to get to.
Yes.
Very important. This needs to
Who
cook
won?
for a lot.
Who won 3 Emmys, and we haven't
3
won
Emmys.
any.
I don't understand what's happening.
Yeah.
You were on the soup, though. Was he on the soup?
I was on the soup.
He was never on the soup? Okay, so there you go. That's what we have. Not even me. That's what she has.
Yeah.
Okay, she
I
probably
told
shouldn't
my
be
son,
proud
I
that
said-
we were on the soup.
My son, who's a pastor, that my mother's on the soup, and I said, Mike, I know it's an insult. I just want you to know that. There's nothing I can do. But as I told him one day, I'm still on the air, and he's not.
Okay, so
Soup's
there
not
you
on
go.
the air anymore.
So there you go. Okay, this needs to cook a lot
But
longer.
it
Let
is
everything
beautiful.
marinate. I will not even.
You
be
won't eat
close
it
to
'cause it's
tasting
got a
this.
little
Thank
pep.
you.
This girl needs, I think she needs counseling.
Intervention.
Okay, I'll just take a little bite.
Oh, you almost got a green pepper.
That was very good, and it's going to be better in 10, 15 minutes or so.
So good.
So it's called sausage vegetable rotini soup. We'll send you the recipe. It's all free. That information is coming up on your screen right now. And I'm sure that a lot of people in the Tampa Bay area where we are right now have seen Bobby Lewis and some of the great work he does. 3 Emmys, right?
3 Emmys.
But we get to introduce him to all across America today, so stay with us.
If you would like a copy of today's recipe, you may receive it by contacting us through social media as listed on the screen. When requesting a copy through the mail, be sure to include a self-addressed stamped envelope. Thank you, and please know we always appreciate hearing from our viewers.
It's a pleasure to welcome Bobby Lewis to the show. Welcome to Homekeepers.
Thank you. I appreciate having me.
And you have a wife and
I do.
boy and a girl,
If I
and
look tired, it's because I do have a daughter and a son.
they're very lively ages
They're
right
very
now.
lively. Yes, 7-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old son. They keep me hopping.
And your wife homeschools them, and that's
She
impressive.
does. She's amazing, and she keeps me afloat, which is great.
I want to go back a little bit. Were you raised in a Christian home?
I was, yeah. I was raised in a home where church was not optional. It was mandatory. My grandmother and grandfather attended the same church in St. Petersburg, Florida for 50 years. They both were very active in the choir. My grandmother sang in the choir, and my grandfather played the piano. Basically missed like 2 or 3 Sundays in 50 years. So it really wasn't an option to not go to church. And I'm so thankful for that because it now embedded in me, you know, something that I want to embed in my kids. And so it's really been a special relationship between my family.
Well, as I was reading your book, the name of the book is Finding Joy Beyond the Headlines. It seemed obvious to me that you had a natural grasp of Scripture, that you were familiar with it.
Yeah, it's something that was always part of my life growing up. We were not necessarily a family that was going to sit down at the kitchen table and read the Bible together every day. But in going to church every single week, it was part of our routine, and not a routine in a bad way. It was part of the way of life. And we knew that in order to have a successful future, you had to have a very firm foundation. And that's where we got our foundation, was reading through it.
Yes, I couldn't thank the Lord enough for Sunday school.
Yeah.
Growing up, you look back and you think all those things you learned and didn't realize, I guess,
Oh, yeah.
at all how important they would be.
Well, now as a parent of 2 young kids, I understand that, you know, when you're young, you know, those are perhaps your most informative moments. You know, if you've got a child at home or a grandchild, whatever the case, who's, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years old, those are prime moments. And so, you know, that was maybe the hardest part for writing this book, is it drew me away from them a little bit, because if you're going to write a book, and I felt like God really asked me to do that, you have to sacrifice something. And for a brief period of my life, I sacrificed a little bit of family time. So I have to make up for it now. We have to play every night so we can get that time back.
Yeah. One more thing. Now, the desire of your heart really was to be a sports reporter, and you were for a while.
Yeah. I was a sports reporter. You mentioned those Emmys. That's how I got a couple of them for that. I was a sports reporter for 6 years, and I loved it. I was a sports reporter in Louisiana, in Oklahoma, and here in Florida. Loved it. But I really found it to be mostly self-serving. You know, I had a good time. You know, I loved going and doing the interviews, and I go in the locker room and go to the games. You know, the Final Four and the Stanley Cup, and you know, Major League Baseball play. It was fun. It was a great time. But at the end of the day, I'd go home and say, well, who benefited from that? It was just me. And so eventually, my career path changed. The TV station I was working for came and said, we don't really need 3 sports reporters. We think
you look like a sports reporter.
Well,
you know.
I knew I wasn't going to play professional
Was there a
sports.
favorite game you liked?
Favorite game? Oh man,
Football?
It's hard to tell. I went to the University of South Florida, and so I always, you know, really was drawn to, you know, collegiate sports, and I always enjoyed going to their athletic events. But I've been to the Major League Baseball playoffs and Final Fours, and you know, really big national sporting events, PGA Tour and stuff. And I always go back to my school. I love those games.
Yeah. Do you regret? Do you like what you're doing now, or do you wish you were still in sports? Because you really kind of like sports.
I did. I don't know that I regret it. That's a really good question, because do I miss it? Sure, I miss going to games. It's fun. You know, you can't say that going to work and getting paid to go to a sporting event's not fun. It was. But now that I look back on it and I see how God kind of weaved things for me, I really don't miss it as much as I thought I was going to miss it, because of the benefits of this new position that God kind of put me in. I get to meet new people every day who are doing incredible things, uplifting others, and I think that when you get a chance to make an impact in people's lives through telling positive stories, you can't beat that.
Yeah, this is eternal stuff you're doing. What's the name of the segment?
I do a segment at the CBS affiliate in Tampa, Florida. It's called On the Road. And it's kind of loosely defined, but I like to call it stories that are done by interesting people doing uplifting things in unique ways. And that can be a lot of different things. A lot of different people
latitude.
fit that. Yeah. But I really like to find people doing the right thing for the right reason. Usually it's very selfless, and a lot of the times I'll find these people doing great stuff, and all you gotta do is give them a little nudge and say, you can help someone with this.
I know, and there's millions of them out there, but they don't get the headlines.
They don't.
Ever.
No.
So at least you can put a spotlight on it.
Yeah.
All right. I wrote this down thinking I might not remember it. Your chapters are really well-defined: ambition, joy, thankfulness, blessing, love, giving, and perseverance.
Yeah.
That all of the story, each story fits into at least one of those.
Well, when I was first setting out to write this book, I was actually on vacation. It was in North Carolina, and I was sitting on the porch, and I kind of felt this very clear tug on my heart. You know, God saying, you need to write about this and remind people there's good stuff happening. And I thought, well, how in the world do you do that? I've done all these years of interviews. How do I kind of siphon it down into book format? And so I just made a list of different biblical principles that I found important. And when I came to the ones you just mentioned, those 7 principles, I said, these are the ones that really exemplify what I think God wants from us. And so I went through and made these 7 chapters, and then I started thinking about the people that I've met over the years.
Got to put the person in
and
that.
just drop them in the slot, essentially. And you know, we came up with 28 real stories of people that I've interviewed and put on TV who, in their greatest time of need, God showed up for them. Maybe they had a problem with a disease or an illness, or they just couldn't quite get the motivation to do what was right, and God showed up and made an incredible difference in them, and we got to share their story on TV, and now it's in book forever.
Yes, and we're going to put that website up, and we'll leave it up. You can get it through there, also I'm sure on Amazon and all those other places.
Yeah. The best place I think to go is findingjoybeyondtheheadlines.com, and I say that because what I think is one of the unique features about this book is if you go to that website, findingjoybeyondtheheadlines.com, you can actually watch the stories for the people that are in the book. So, and you can read about it in book format, but also hear in their own words what they feel, which is kind of a cool feature.
Yes, I've gone through this, but I want to read it more in depth, and I'll tell you how I'm going to use it. We live in a very coarse culture. People are screaming at each other, violence, profanity, and people are just unleashed. As we make this program, we're getting ready for midterm elections, and it's been so ugly. And I've often thought of this. I want to read thoroughly a chapter each night after I get in bed, almost like a devotional. It's like it will clear all that ugliness that's attached itself to us through the day.
Well, I think that everybody has a story. You may not want to share that story because it may be very personal to you, but everybody's got a story, and I think that that's on purpose. You know, God can use you today, even if you're in the middle of some kind of trial. And you may be going through perhaps the hardest day of your life, but you have an opportunity today to impact someone in a positive way. And that's what I very much try to do with my TV segment, is be an example through someone else's story to remind people that, yeah, there was a shooting. That's going to be the first thing you hear about. Yeah, there was someone did something wrong or lied, or there's a sinkhole swallowed someone's house, or there's a tornado. Something bad happened. That's not going to stop because we got an enemy who roams around and is in charge of stuff down here on occasion, and we can't outrun that. But God is here too, and doing incredible things to kind of counteract that. So we've all got a story. We've all got an opportunity to help people through their troubles during the day. We've just got to embrace it and maybe look towards God's chances for redemption more so than our problems that seem to crop up.
And it's wonderful that you put a spotlight on this. Now, do you want to talk about 2 or 3 of the people in here? I think I've got a favorite.
Sure. Which one's your favorite?
The little boy, I wrote his name
Oh,
down.
Erik Pyburn?
Yes.
Yeah, he's pretty special.
Yes. You tell his story. He wasn't supposed to live even a year, was he?
No, I met Erik Pyburn a couple of years ago, and working at a CBS affiliate, we run The Wheel of Fortune. That's on our network. It's a very popular show.
I never miss Jeopardy.
Well, it's right there with Jeopardy.
When people call me or I'm on the phone, I said, sorry.
I'm busy.
Got to watch Alex.
Well, he's that same way with Vanna White and
the little Erik.
Yeah, little Erik is the same way. In fact, he was born with a very rare condition. He still needs a heart and double lung transplant. Very, very sick little boy. So sick that he couldn't attend school. And so he had to be homeschooled. He had to do things a lot differently. It was doctor visits every day, pokes and needles and pills and all that. Just very, very sad. His parents were told, don't bother planning a first birthday. He's not going to need a cake, which has got to be terrible as a parent. And what happened was they were so sick and got stuck in the house so often, they started teaching him letters and numbers by watching The Wheel of Fortune. And so Vanna and Pat became like adoptive parents to him. And so we actually had the opportunity to bring him to our TV station and introduce him to Pat and Vanna through a satellite interview. And I've never seen a child smile so much. And he still had the disease. He still had the illness.
Got tubes running everywhere.
And yet it didn't matter in the moment because there was joy there in that studio. And I think that's a great parallel for what we're trying to do is, yeah, you're still going to be sick perhaps. You still maybe have the same financial troubles or whatever your specific case is today. But God has an opportunity for you to be impacted by joy if you're willing to look for it. And it's everywhere. It's hard not to see it for me. There's joy all over.
As I read that and I saw some pictures, I thought, that child is alive because of the Spirit of God in him.
Yeah.
He's more alive than I am.
Well, one of the lines that I had in the chapter, and it kind of just happened on accident. I was just kind of typing it out. And I said, doctors tell us that he's got a weak heart, but I'd argue he's got one of the strongest hearts you'll ever find. You know, he embraces life with this incredible zeal, this incredible exuberance that maybe we lose in our day-to-day life. And he's thankful for just one more day. His mom says, we're living on borrowed time. I just want more borrowed time, and every single day is a gift. And I really love sharing he's in the Perseverance chapter.
He's in the book, but you've also had him on TV.
Yeah, we just got an
He
email
just
today.
about lost it when he met Vanna, right?
Oh, he was very excited to meet Vanna, yeah. It was fun.
You mentioned in the book, or maybe in an interview I saw that the mantra in that news world is, if it bleeds, it leads.
Yeah.
Just the worst kind of story is the one that grabs the headline.
Yeah, it's tough. I remember my very first assignment. I was a fresh new reporter in Louisiana, and my news director at the time, we were driving through town, and there was a fire off in the distance. And he said, oh, let's go over and see what's happening. No big deal. You know, I'm 21, 2, 3, however old I was. You know, do what the boss says, right? So we get over there, and it was a house on fire. We got video of the house on fire. And then the next morning I came into work, and he says, why don't you go back and interview the family and see how they feel? And I thought, well, what do you think they feel? That they're homeless
Sounds
now.
cruel.
Yeah, exactly. But for some reason, that's been the perpetual mindset that I've seen kind of creep up over the years. And, you know, to me, we're doing a disservice to viewers by doing that type of news. It paints a disproportionate picture of what's actually happening in the world. How many houses didn't burn down today? You know,
Right.
I think it's important for us to cover certain events. We've got hurricanes and we've got election, all these different things that are mandatory to cover. But I think if we start to omit stories like Erik Pyburn's and the other 27 in this book,
Right.
we start to lose a little bit of that feeling that we're all grasping for, that feeling of being uplifted, that feeling of knowing that God's
Which is
watching
part
us.
of America,
Yeah.
the America that I grew up in,
Yeah,
at least.
I think that there's plenty of opportunities for us to embrace the what's the phrasing, the invisible qualities that we read about in the Bible that
Yeah.
God has everywhere.
I think I represent most of America. I wish the business you're in, news, just give us the story. Don't slant it. It doesn't have to be left or right or anything. Or just tell us the story. We're intelligent enough
Sure.
to be able to absorb it. If you just joined me, I'm talking to a new best friend. His name is Bobby Lewis. He's a reporter here in the Tampa Bay area with CBS station. And we're talking about his book. He's very qualified to write, by the way, Finding Joy Beyond the Headlines. And it's like a cool glass of water in the desert of our
Thank you.
culture.
I
Yes,
appreciate that, yeah.
indeed. I know Eric's maybe one of the favorite stories. What's another one that really grabbed you?
It's hard to pick a favorite because each person has impacted me as much as hopefully I impacted them by sharing their story. There's one guy that I met recently, actually he's in Tampa as well. His name is Brent Krause, and I've really become kind of close with him. He lost his brother to suicide in 2010, and instead of, you know, crying every single day over it, which he certainly could, he'd be within his right to do that, he instead decided he would memorialize his brother and get the whole family together. And his brother really loved bow ties. That was his favorite thing to wear. And so they said, let's honor our brother in a way that's going to benefit others and uplift other people. It's tragic what happened to him. But what we're going to do is mom can sew, dad can work with wood, I can work with the internet. Let's make wooden bow ties. And so they made wooden bow ties, which is very fashionable now. And so they sell these online, and a percentage of the money that's made, in fact, a big chunk of the money made off the bow ties, is donated to the Crisis Center of Tampa Bay that goes to prevent more suicides. And so they felt like this was such a traumatic moment in our life. Let's not have it perpetuate. Let's cut it off now, and let's do what God wants us to do, which is, you know, love your neighbor as yourself, and do it by helping other people and preventing this tragedy from happening with other families. So he's in the love chapter.
Yes, and also, is it hard to choose the story, even for your TV segment or for the book?
It can be a little difficult. I mean, like I said earlier, everyone's got a story, but
Yeah,
sometimes
so you
it's
got to
hard.
decide.
Well, it's hard to convince some people sometimes because a lot of the times people doing the right thing for the right reason aren't doing it for the accolade. They're not doing it for the pat on the back. They're doing it because there's a stirring in their heart to help others, or there's a stirring in their heart to really be more than just a selfish creature. We're kind of programmed to be selfish from birth. The people that are sharing their stories and trying to help others and trying to benefit their community are the ones that are doing it just out of the goodness of their heart.
I've met those kind of people, and they don't want any publicity. They don't.
Yeah.
I love the way that you have used scripture throughout this, and for someone who has been a Bible teacher and speaker and all, I was going through and said, this guy's kind of familiar with the Bible. I don't think you went through a Rolodex or anything to
I didn't
find
Google,
a scripture that fits, or Google.
Yeah.
But I love your kind of reason for the book, and is that First Chronicles?
Oh gosh, yeah. I've come across so many scriptures that really pertain to this and connected with me.
Support what you're doing, yeah.
But I think if I had to pick one or two that really connect with me, it's 1 Chronicles 16:24, which says, "Publish his glorious deeds among the nations. Tell everyone about the amazing things he does." My favorite word is "does," because a lot of times we fall into this trap of thinking, well, God did something great when I was 10, or maybe one day I'll get what I'm asking for. You know, we'll kind of treat God like a vending machine, like, please give me, give me, give me. Someday we'll get it. but the verse says the amazing things he does.
Praise
Which
God.
means today he's doing
yes.
something incredible. Despite the headlines that you're going to see first, flip on the news tonight, there will be someone who did something wrong, or someone was shot, and that's not to minimize those things. But we can't get so caught up in those headlines that we get distracted from the amazing things that God does today. And that's what I hope is the focus of
I think you've really sparked something in every viewer today.
I hope so. I hope so.
And I tell you why, because we all are burdened down with bad news and all. But
well, the news cycle perpetuates that now because our attention spans are shorter, and so constantly we're feeding over and over and over again new news. Every 24 hours is a different cycle, and what happened today almost doesn't matter anymore. We're moving on to tomorrow. So I think that if we take the time to rest and stop and let God take over and start to look for those joyful moments all around us, you'll see it. You'll see it show up.
another one you used, Psalm 127, they do not fear bad news. Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, Psalm 112, verse 7, they do not fear bad news. They confidently put their trust in God to take care of them. And for me, that's important because every day I walk into a newsroom setting and I can't help but hear it. It's out of the corner of my eye while I'm on my computer and I'm editing and putting together a story, corner of my eye, or I can hear it off in the distance. They're talking about, send the helicopter, someone just got hit by a bus. I can't stop hearing it, but if I confidently put my trust in the Lord, I will not fear that bad news. Doesn't mean that it didn't happen. In fact, it's going to continue to happen. Bad news is all around us. But the way we approach it has to be with a God-centered view. Otherwise, it's going to consume us like an avalanche and we won't be able to escape.
Let me remind you, we're talking about his book. It hasn't been out very long either.
About a month. Yeah, about a month now, yep.
Finding Joy Beyond the Headlines. And if you go to that website, which we've had up for quite a while, you can meet some of the people in this book.
I've been able to go meet up with them again, which is really a cool reunion to get to go back and meet some of these 28 people. And just give them the opportunity, in their own words, to tell what does it mean to be blessed? What does it mean to have joy? And I'll ask the people in those chapters, what does it mean to you to be an example of love for others? And it's really great to hear their responses.
Yes, and read a chapter every night before you go to bed. I think you'll sleep better because it kind of filters out that bad news. It's been such a joy to have you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Appreciate having me.
And I hope the book does very, very well. It's so needed in this this day and age. And I think we need to remember to put some good, positive things into our kids. They're living in this culture just like we are, and they're picking up the bad vibes. So join me next time, please, remembering there's no higher calling than that of a homekeeper. God bless you.
If you should miss a Homekeepers program, you can catch up by going to www.ctnonline.com. Click on CTN Programs and then on Homekeepers.